I don't know if I'm audible to you people. Am I?
Yes, doctor, you can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you, Doctor.
Okay, I hope I am. I I think the volume for the speaker was off. Mhm. So today we are starting on a new topic. We have previously looked at lesson 4, which was on children's socio-emotional health needs. And then we finished with creating and maintaining health, which was our lesson 5. So today we will start on a new topic, topic 6, and this topic is on common childhood diseases. Common childhood diseases. Um, we will start by looking at protein energy malnutrition. We'll start by looking at protein energy malnutrition. And protein energy malnutrition is a disease that children suffer when they don't get enough proteins or they get more proteins than their body requires. So too little of everything is dangerous and too much of everything, again, is dangerous. Some adults also might suffer from deficiency diseases, but children are more vulnerable and they are more seriously impacted owing to their low immunity levels, heightened growth because they are growing rapidly, and frequent contact with dirt. Nutritional deficiency diseases are almost as many as the nutrients are. However, we will only focus on the most common of these diseases because the most common ones are the ones that you're going to face daily in your life. As a teacher, as a mother, as a practitioner, as a social worker, those are the ones that you will keep facing on a daily basis, and the ones that are also common for us right here in Kenya. You know, now, having said that, I want us to first go through this protein energy deficiencies so that we get to know what it is. Well, I want us to know what it is. I want us to know, um, I'm backing up my audio in case problem later. So I want us to know what it is. And I want us to know what are these protein deficiencies. Yeah. What they do to us. I will tell you when you have low protein deficiency, you are going to have short-term, short attention span. You're going to have poor recovery from injuries. When you get injured, you're going to have low energy levels every other time. You don't feel like you're strong. You don't feel like it is well. You're going to have muscle weakness. Your muscles will pain. They will not be strong, you know. your skin, your hair, your nails will have problems that you do not even know what to do with. Yeah. And you know very well how we want to maintain our nails, especially as women. Even men today, everybody wants to have things that are looking good. Yeah, not only the females, but also the males. They want to look good, they want to appear good, they want things to be well with them, you know. So then, how do we strike a balance now that we know it's protein that is giving us the message that we are seeing? Yeah, the hair is falling off, it's not growing, you know. What do you do with it? Hmm? So then I want to share my screen and so that I can take you to a link that I want us to go through. And I want to go right there. I hope it will work without stresses. Okay, so I will present, and I'm presenting with this gadget that never works. Oh, am I stopping recording? No. Okay, I do not want to stop recording. I want to share. Okay, I want to present. Allow. So it will be on your screen shortly. Be patient, and I can see it's coming. All right. So this is what I'm presenting. And it's on protein energy malnutrition. Protein energy malnutrition. Are you able to see my screen from your end?
Yes, doctor.
Yes, doctor. Thank you. That was loud and clear, Asante. And I hope my voice is also okay the other side. Now, this is on protein energy malnutrition. What is protein energy malnutrition? I've just mentioned and said that having less of it and having more of it has got consequences. Protein energy malnutrition, we call it PEM. We will look at it, what it is, its causes, consequences, its interaction, and then global trends, other than just our Kenyan situation. Now, we've just said that protein energy malnutrition has got to do with deficiency in the nutrients. Yeah. Now, deficiencies with the nutrients. The first one is protein. The second one is energy, and the third one is micronutrients. So now, the protein. When we say someone is deficient in proteins, what are we referring to? And someone can unmute and tell us because it's already projected for you there. It means someone has got
deficiency in amino acids needed for cell structure and function.
perfect. So now you understand why we said your body will not function well. If the nail is supposed to grow, it stops growing. If the hair is supposed to grow, it stops to grow. Or it grows weak, it cuts off. it's discolored, and it's not lustrous. You know, kama manyoya ya farasi. You call them manyoya, we call them what? Yes, that one. So then it means when you have protein deficiency, hata ukiangalia tu ngozi yako itakwambia, ukiangalia nywele itakwambia, ukiangalia makucha itakwambia, and literally the same thing even your eyes. So the skin ukiona imeparara kuparara, unapaka mafuta inaparara, then something is wrong and the body is telling you, hey, there's a deficiency. Okay, so you can look at children, see how they are looking when their things are not looking fine, and you can advise. All right, then the deficiency with energy, another person, when we say you are energy deficient, what do we mean? No one else
Calories.
can talk?
Calories derived from macronutrients, protein, carbohydrates, and fat.
Okay, now, so we are saying that energy is calories, and calories come from where? They come from macronutrients. When you eat food, the food is broken down. If you remember your biology on how food is digested from mouth to anus, the processes that occur, the process that happen, then when the process happens well and the macronutrients are absorbed in the body, your energy levels are going to be up. The opposite, or vice versa, is also true. When you are not eating what the body needs, then your micronutrients will be deficient, deprived of energy, deprived of the nutrients that it needs to function, and therefore it will not work normally. So you will wake up in the morning, you are tired. You make a few steps, your heart wants to come out because it's struggling to pump blood. Yeah, you are not giving it the energy it requires. Yeah, and when those things happen, also some diseases can cause this, but basically, Pem will also do that, you know, and the situation will change when you eat. Some people also eat, but what they eat is not what the body knows. It's not what the body understands. And when you eat what the body does not understand, it does not know what to do with it, so it's not absorbed. It just sits there somewhere in your body. Let's say you eat exhaust fume from the vegetables that you're buying, or you eat chemicals that have been sprayed on the vegetables that you're eating or the fruits that you're eating. A lot of things then will happen that do not allow the body to absorb. And now when all these negative things accumulate in your body, one thing will happen. And what will happen is that your body will say, hey, poison is all around the nutrients and the nutrients are not able to function. So your cells can as well deal with it the way they want. They can start forming another section of a body somewhere and things like that. So when you don't eat well, the body also misbehaves. Okay? Then micronutrients. When you're deficient in micronutrients, what do we mean? And someone else can unmute and tell us.
Vitamin A, B complex, iron, zinc, calcium, and others.
Yes, vitamin A, vitamin B complex, iron, zinc, calcium, and so on and so forth will not be absorbed in your body. If your body is deficient of vitamin A, your eyes will go blind. If your body is deficient of vitamin B, you are going to have neurons problems. If you're deficient in iron, your blood HB will be low. If you're deficient in zinc, hata corona itakupata haraka sana. When you are deficient in calcium, your bones will be weak. You understand? Great. Now, I want us to look at undernutrition. Undernutrition. And sorry for that. Have I stopped presenting? I hope it's still presenting. Huh? So, what is undernutrition? Undernutrition goes through life stages. Yes. One, when it's that time that a mother is pregnant, when it's that time that a child is rapidly growing and developing. So the child and maternal health problems will contribute more to undernutrition compared to when things are opposite. Am I audible, class?
Yes, doctor.
Yes, doctor.
Thank you for feedback. I thought the speakers are overeating. This is the laptop that overeats. So the child and maternal health problems will occur, and I hope you can see the presentation right there. Now, there are undernutrition issues that occur to a child or to an infant. And someone else can unmute and tell us, what do you expect when a child has got undernutrition problems as an infant? What do we expect to happen to that child who is undernutrited?
The growth of the infant will be low.
When a child is
The lady continue.
he will have impaired mental, motor, and behavior development problems.
Yes. So infections, we expect them to be today, tomorrow, the next day. So when you have a child who is always sick, anamaliza ndosi ya dawa leo, kesho ni mgonjwa. Ama akimaliza ndosi ya dawa leo, after 3 days mtoto ni mgonjwa. Then that tells you there is something that you need to be keen unto. And that tells you the child is not feeding well. Because a child who is feeding well, the cells are strong, the nutrients are received in the body as per the body requires, and so the child is supposed to be strong and healthy. And therefore, the immunity level is high. So when a child is not fed well, the infection rates go high. Na ni hivyo hivyo nimesema, ugonjwa leo, ugonjwa kesho, na kesho ingine. Then poor growth. Poor thing if a child is not well fed. You don't expect the child to increase in height, to increase in size, to increase in, even head circumference and chest circumference, the things that we measure. When a child goes for clinic, the first thing that will tell the doctors that the child is underfed, one, they'll look at the tummy. And the skin of the tummy will be hanging. So you can literally pinch the skin in the tummy and pull it up and hold it up. So when you can do that in a child's tummy, then it tells you, hata chakula hii tumbo haipatangi. Wacha nutrients. Zile hazitoshi. Chakula pia ni shinda. When you can literally pinch and you can try pinching your tummy and pulling it out. And you can hold it out for as long as you want. If you can do that, then you're underfed. There's something wrong. And a pinch does not mean you hold like unakula slices za mikate 10. No, and that skin you can literally pull it and stretch it up. The skin of the tummy, right? Not the fat in the tummy. Okay. Now, so poor growth is inevitable. That child will not increase in size, in weight. The brain will not grow. It will not develop. The things around the chest. You know what is inside your chest? Let me ask James. What is inside your underneath your chest, James?
What is Anna?
Underneath your chest.
Fat.
Yeah. What organs are there?
The heart.
The heart.
What is there? What else is there?
The lungs.
The heart, the lungs.
The kidneys, I think.
All the vital organs are right there in the diaphragm, right there. And so if the chest is not expanding, you don't expect the heart to even be able to pump the blood the way it's supposed to, because the chest is congested. It's not increasing to give room. Yeah, the liver is not developing well. Kako kandogo hivi that you cannot even know what to do with. Now, so you really have to make sure that children are well fed. Today, I'm not asking people about their emails. I'm admitting you because from the classes I've learned earlier in the day, I know the system drew everybody out. But they should normalize when they have cleaned up the people that are being cleaned out of the system. So today I'm admitting without Olubanu. So poor growth will occur. Then a child will have impaired mental development. How do you expect the brain to develop when you're not giving it, giving the nutrients the neurons require? Right? You start killing it. The brain will shrink instead of developing. And when the brain shrinks, it just does not shrink, it dies. So when the brain is dead, hakuna resuscitate or doing anything. Once the brain is dead, it's dead. It is a shrink. When you hear someone telling you it looks like your brain has shrunk or you require shrink services. Ni kusema vitu zako kuna zenye hazifanyi kazi vizuri. So when you start visiting, what do we call them? Psychiatrists, because you have shrinking problems. So when you go seeing a shrink, so that your brain can be worked on, then just figure out that you have problems that need to be worked out. And when you see these mental problems in a child, they can't remember. Mtoto mdogo akumbuki. Okay, there are things that other children are doing well at the same age, this one cannot do. Then there should be a pointer that there is something wrong somewhere. Then motor and behavioral development also. Huyu anatembea, huyu hata kuamka ni shinda. Miguu kukanyangisha chini tembee is a problem and the child is not disabled. The body is literally saying no. And then when cases become severe, the person can also die. So now those are problems of infants when they have undernutrition, and then problems of mothers when they have undernutrition problems. Okay, what will happen to them? Someone can unmute and tell us.
They can die.
Yes, death is inevitable. The mother and the child, especially if the mother is pregnant, the mother can die. And if the mother is not pregnant, but the mother gave birth and the mother is underfed, the child is draining what is with the mother. So the mother will die and leave the child because the body will drain everything to the child. And then the mother is not, eating well to build again what the child will come and suck. So the mother can die, that's one. And if the mother is pregnant, the mother and the child will definitely, so death will be ×2. Then anemia. Huyo mama damu yake itaanza kuisha. And then unapata anapatiwa dawa za kuongeza damu. You akuli vegetables, the green leafy veggies that will boost the HB levels. And we said the other time, when HB is below 8 for a mother, it is banned for a lady. When it's below 8, that is very bad. For a man, that would be okay. But for a lady, no. Your HB is supposed to be 10 to 12 or higher. The higher, there's nothing wrong with it being higher than 12. You can donate it, but having it low is a bigger problem. So always make sure when you start feeling tired, you make steps, you feel your breathless, you go and check your HB and know your iron levels. And then you start eating liver, you start eating managu, you start eating, not these ones that are sprained because they will not work out. Eat those original kienyeji vegetables that are organic, that have got less chemicals. And even if you eat 3 days, you see your blood coming up. So if you continue eating your vegetables and blood is not shooting up, my friend, you're eating nothing, you're eating toxins. So the vegetables you're eating are green, but they're not vegetables, they're full of toxins or chemicals. But if you eat good green leafy vegetables, in a short while, things should be able to work for you. So infections will also be common, especially in the lower abdomen. You'll be having infections today, tomorrow, the next day. Your blood, when you go for checkups, you'll be told there is a lot of white blood cells in your blood. A lot of white blood cells in your blood. So you have an infection. When you have white blood cells, it means a lot of your cells are dying. The red blood cells that are supposed to help circulate the blood, give you oxygen, they are dying. And they are dying because they are fighting. There is a fight going on in your body. There is an enemy. The enemy is a disease. Yeah? The infection is from a disease. So your body is fighting, and all the soldiers that are fighting are being killed. And when they die, it means you're going to be anemic because you will have very few red cells active. Most of them will die. Okay? So when you go for a test and they tell you, we are seeing that the white cells are many in your blood, then in other ones, they're telling you you have an infection. Your body is fighting something. So they start establishing, what is the infection? Where could it be coming from? Is it urinary tract? Is it upper throat infection? Is it a wound? Is it, what is happening? They'll start looking for whatever is happening with your body to be able to advise. Then there is cases of child mortality are higher. And now we don't call it mortality when a child is not yet born, but we call it obstetric morbidity, meaning mothers will have many dead babies in their tummies as a result of not feeding well. The baby will be starved and the baby will die. All right. So now that is undernutrition for the child and for the mother. Now we look at the nutritional deficiencies that lead to undernutrition. So when we refer to protein energy malnutrition, we mean that someone is deficient in micronutrients. Micronutrients such as vitamin A, such as zinc, such
Vitamin
as,
B complex.
yes,
Vitamin
such as
C.
iron, such as iodine, such as folate, etc. And then when you have these deficiencies, now here we've talked about the health, education. Now, the practical part of it, other than now analyzing it medically, we will also have behavioral problems. Yeah? And those ones will be related to breastfeeding. Mtoto amekataa kunyonya, mtoto anyonyi, mtoto ananyonya, hakuna maziwa inatoka, you know, feeding problems. Then complementary feeding will start. Haya, sasa juu amekataa kunyonya, wacha tumpikie ugali. Nini ingine? Wacha tumpikie pumpkin. What else will you prepare? Wacha tutengeneze githeri.
Matoke.
Wacha tutengeneze mukimo. Mama ana maziwa. All these problems.
Na omena.
These problems will come up because mother is not feeding well. So they will affect the child who is breastfeeding. Akuwe na mashinda, ama pia unakula vitu hazieleweki, mtoto akinyonya, the milk is not digested, so anaona afadhali akae bila hiyo maziwa yako. Yeah? Maybe you are eating toxins, you're eating chemicals, you know, in form of the foods that you're eating. They are too much chemical. They have too much exhaust fumes, depending on where they have been planted. They have too much methane deposits, especially ndomas and the ones that are the roots, the tubers that are planted in places where chemicals have been poured, you know, or that have been watered with water from chemical waste, you know. So then all these problems will come up. And the other thing, the child will also, even if that child struggles and goes to school, this child will not study because they cannot concentrate. Yeah. So they will have poor education. Poor education will take them to the cycle of poverty. The cycle of poverty will lead them to low socioeconomic status. And low socioeconomic status will again make sure children that have been born to these families will again suffer undernutrition problems. And then again, the cycle continues. So you don't break the cycle unless you leave that environment and go to another environment. Okay. Now, maternal malnourishment.
Excuse me.
Yes.
In full, what is the meaning of HH diet?
Diet that is, in short, just understand, like I said, undernutrition. Diet that is not recommended. It does not have enough calories, that it does not have adequate nutrients. So it has its own deficiencies. Then maternal nutrition, that's the network point of, then I hope I'm still projecting. Maternal malnourishment. Okay. When there is maternal malnourishment, this is malnourishment when the mother is pregnant, what the mother is eating is not enough and adequate for the mother and the child. So this one, we've looked at what it can contribute to apogee. Now I want you to see it physically. This child now is a case of low birth weight. Yeah? You can see the child, that is in Bangladesh. That's not a Kenyan. Now, this is a case of postnatal nutrition, whereby now after birth, the child does not grow and develop well. Yeah? Look at the two children. Are you seeing them? They are twins.
Yes.
They are 1 year, both of them.
Yes.
The left is male, the right is female. Perfect. Now, the male, which is on the left, is actually very well fed. And the female, who is on the right, is not well fed. The child is wasted. The child has got malnutrition. In fact, the child is suffering from marasmus. So when you look at that child, even you, without you being a doctor, you can be able to tell that something is not right with the two children. You can be able to tell there's something wrong somewhere. Yeah? When you talk about the anthropometric measurements, these are measurements that we do. The chest, yeah, the chest measurements from shoulder to shoulder. Then the head circumference from here to here. So you cannot compare the chest circumference here measuring this child from shoulder to shoulder. This child has got a wider circumference compared to this one. Yes. Then you can clearly also see the head circumference. You cannot compare head circumference together with this one. Now, because they have been put together, you can look at differences and say, yes, this one kanaka kamenona, kakingine kamekonda, huku naona mifupa, hapa kwingine uoni kitu, kamkono kakana nyama, haka kengine kakona tunyama. You know, they don't look like they are age mates, but they are twins. And again, that was a case of malnutrition and a nutrition case that was reported in Bangladesh. Now we come to severe protein energy malnutrition. We have 3 cases of severe PEM. We have kwashiorkor, we have marasmus, and we have marasmic kwashiorkor. Now, when do we say a child has got kwashiorkor? Someone to unmute and tell us. It's over there.
Okay, it is when the child is displaced from breast, sorry.
Yes, when an infant is not breastfed, basically breast milk is a child's nutrition. So ukiona wameenda kupika ugali na kidheri na hizo vitu zingine, ndio mashinda zinaendelea kuongezeka. So when a child is literally not breastfed, then there is a problem. And the problem that is leading to a child not breastfed, especially the infants, it's when the mother has no milk. Hakuna kitu kuna ya kukula maziwa itoke. Ama kile anakula si chakula mwili haielewi. Anakula vitu mwili does not understand. The toxins, the chemicals that are not helping production of milk. And also, you could be eating things. Kama kuna kingine niliona inaitwa bitter leaf. Bitter leaf is shrub that grows on its own, like in the bushes, and some people eat it. So maybe you go in the bush and pick some leaves and cook as your green leaf vegetables, and the body does not understand that. So when the child takes that milk, of course you don't expect the child to be able to digest as well, because it's not recognized as food. It does not have the nutrients that the body wants, So that will lead to kwashiorkor. And when a child has started eating, when they are not eating enough of adequate nutrients, or there is nothing to eat at all, they will also develop kwashiorkor. Then we have marasmus. And marasmus means extreme wasting, meaning umeisha kabisa. Mtu akikuangalia ni mifupa, akiangalia macho iko ndani, sijui ni ndani ama ni nje. Akiangalia kichwa, you can literally draw the shape of the bone of the head. Yeah? Same with the hands, the legs, the chest. You can count the ribs. The lips. Yeah. What is it? Kimeru inference. You can count the ribs. Whatever. Let's say the lips or the ribs. Read that one. So then we have kwashiorkor marasmus. Sasa hii ni 50-50. Uko na kwashiorkor, uko na marasmus. You are wasted kabisa plus uko na kwashiorkor. Yeah? Now, this one is severe. Very severe compared to just kwashiorkor or just marasmus. This one, the effect are ×2. Okay? So it means for the child who has got marasmic kwashiorkor, they actually require. Okay, did someone say something? Okay. When you have marasmic kwashiorkor, hiyo ni mbaya. Yeah? So the nutritional deficits of energy are times in the power of 10 deficient. Micronutrients in the power of 10 deficient. Now, so those are the severe cases of protein energy malnutrition. The kwashiorkor, the marasmus, and marasmic kwashiorkor. Now, let's analyze marasmus. Yeah? The case of the child you're seeing there, this child has got marasmus. This child is 2 years of age. You can see the child. Am I still on? I went off. Class?
Yes, doctor, you can see.
Okay, thank you for feedback. I thought I lost you for. Okay, so that child is 2 years. 2 good years. The child looks like they actually can't walk, right? They look like they are newborn. Right? The child looks like a newborn child. Now, this child is severely wasted. In fact, those are the ones you call not just wasted, they are emaciated. They are stunted. When you compare, you stand them with the age mates, the age mate is standing and running. This one cannot even stand. So this one is severe case of marasmus. Yeah? Very low wasted. When you look at the weight and height sizes, this child is way below the others. The child is starved. Yeah, in fact, starvation is under statement. The face of the child, in most cases, not necessarily this one, but the common characteristics of children with marasmus, they will have old man face, sura ya mtoto mzee. The other day we saw in the news, a mtoto who was born very old. And the father ran away and said, this one cannot be my baby. Because the face of the baby was older than that of the father. So the father ran away, took off and said, that one cannot be my baby. Now, so that many of them, when they understand, they will have old men faces. They will have edema. Edema meaning they will have swollen legs, swollen tummies, swollen arms, swollen faces, the cheeks. Meaning when you press that leg or this one right now does not have edema, but most of them will have edema. Edema comes and goes. So leo anakaa hivi, kesho unaweza pata amejaa kila pahali, amekaa amenona. But then it's not fatness because the child is already having marasmus, lakini amefura mwili yote. As in when you press the child, shimo, unaacha shimo ya kindole yako pale umendunga. So that one is a characteristic of a child with marasmus. And this child literally has got very little milk from the mother. And there is no food to complement it. There is no, what do we call them? The container milks that are available for newborn babies, the NAN, the whatever brand it is, are not available for this child, maybe because the mother and the father cannot actually afford. So that one is marasmus. Then I will show you another case of a mother who has got too little milk, too little breast milk. And most mothers will have little milk when the child is 6 months of age. And especially if they have not been breastfeeding well. So you can see the child on the right. Is it on the right? On the left? That child has got kwashiako. The child is 6 months. Unaona nyonyo imejaa kwa mdomo? Look at the cheekbone. Look at the hand, the skin of that baby. Then the picture on the right. It's the same child now. The same child that's on the left, where the mother has got nothing. So this child has been taken up by another surrogate mother. And the surrogate mother here has started giving this child the formula milk, because the mother has got nothing. And this is where the community comes in. This child will literally die. The child on the left, will die if the mother continues breastfeeding zero milk. Yeah? If the mother continues breastfeeding zero milk to this child, that child is going to die. Ama unaona kama anatoboa? Hata wewe mfupa yako haikai like that. Yeah? I mean, you see that child surviving with that kind of milk the mother is giving. Okay, alienda
Not
kunywa chai.
really. Not
Then
really.
now the same child is it's the child on the right. And this child on the right, and I like the comparison because you can be able to see, hata ukitoka kwa hii class usahau kusoma, there are things that you...
My phone is still on the same page.
Okay. Sasa hiyo yako refresh ya page itakupeleka kwenye tuko. Because tulisonga I think you're in your end. Just refresh and then it will take you. Now, this child has been taken over by another, and the child is being breastfed. You know, I'm animating you, Eunice, and you're stuck there, CG.
My phone
Okay,
is
Eunice,
getting lost. Switching, I will exit from the phone.
Okay. The link is on the PowerPoints again. Let's see where we are. If you refresh, maybe it refuses to show you, even when you go to the presentation. If it refuses, don't worry, we'll watch. The link is already there. So it's the same link that I've given you that we are going through. So this child now is being breastfed. And the child is not breastfed, sorry. The child is being fed with formula milk. So the child is on bottle feeding. You know, the milk, the formula milk, the NAN and the formula funks because the child is 6 months. So the child is put on NAN, the child is put on formula food, Cerelac, let's say now Cerelac because we have Cerelac in Kenya, and NAN for the milk. So food is Cerelac and milk is NAN. So the child has been given that, and you can see the child looks fuller. Kamkono kenye kamekonda sana hapa kwingine kakona nyama. The face now you cannot even see the cheekbone. The hair unaona vile imeng'ara imemea. Because now the child is getting what they need. And they are not deficient anymore. Because what was supposed to cause the deficiency has been taken care of. You know? All right, let's proceed. Then, this other one is kwashiorkor now. You know where I talked about edema and I said you can press. Now this child, this is a case of edema. This is how a child looks. Look at the eyes. They look swollen. Yes? Look at the tummy. Look at the legs. Down there, they look like the legs of those ones of a pregnant woman. Yeah? Look at the toes. Are you able to see those others?
Yes.
Yes, doctor.
Yes, doctor, I'm able to see.
Perfect. Now I want someone to unmute, anybody, and tell us the characteristics that you will see in a child with kwashiorkor. They are all right there.
The first one is edema, mental changes, hair changes, fatty liver, dermatosis or skin lesions, infection, mod low, I don't know, WAZ or wasting, high case fertility, low prevalence, and then huko chini sioni.
Waifu, it says fatality, not fertility.
I said fatality, Eunice. Surely.
She's correcting what she had from her side. Now, edema is what you can see, the swelling. Mental changes. You can see the child is even crying. Do you think the child is comfortable? Huyu mtoto hata ukimwambia baba tembea, baba, chukua sweet ukule. Huyo mtoto ana raha. Unaona mtoto analia, unaweza fikiria the child huyu ni kisirani tu, but the child is not well mentally. A lot of things are happening the same way you're seeing the swelling, by the way, outside physically. This is what is also happening to the child internally. So the discomfort the child is going through, hey, it's out of this world. In fact, this child needs to be admitted in an hospital, otherwise they will die. Yeah, if they continue just being home and someone beating them for crying. You know the way parents are. Huyu naye sasa ni kulia nyamazi na unaanza kumchapa. The child is about to die na unaendelea kuchapa mtoto, you know. So the air changes. I want you to look at the air. Look at this air. And I hope you can see it very well. You can actually enlarge on your gadget and look at that air. Unaona, inakaa hata kama iko color white. It's brown. It's whitish. You cannot compare it with your hair. Your hair is black. When it's not black, hata rangi itaenda kupaka tusione vile inakaa. You know? So the fatty liver, now when you're swelling like this, the liver is not functioning normally. So it means the body is retaining a lot of fluids. And in most cases, when you look at the nails and the eyes of this child, they'll be yellowish with jaundice. And then the liver again will be swollen. And fats are going to accumulate around that liver. Not because the child is eating well. No. Now, the skin itakuwa mbaya. Infections, kumbuka vile tulisema hapo juu kwa watoto wale wengine kwa maugonjwa there. Then, kukufa ni hapa. That one is expected. So, prevalence rates of kwashiorkor are low. And they are not controlled. Even when you go to hospitals in Kenya, you'll see children with kwashiorkor in the rural areas. Same thing as children. These children are in another country. They are not in Kenya, but the symptoms and the characteristics are the same. Then chances are this child might only live up to the 3rd year of, and that will be it. If nothing is done, they will not go beyond the 3rd year. Okay. So this other case is a case of marasmic kwashiorkor. Remember, we said this one is worse than just having marasmus and having kwashiorkor. This child that you're looking at is 3 years old. This is Indonesian. Right, from Indonesia. So this boy has got measles as well. And the child has got another, huyu akona mashinda mingi. Akona measles, akona keratomalacia, meaning akona shinda ya jicho, hiyo unaona inakaa chongo. Alafu mtoto ni marasmic kwashiorkor. You know? So now, this is a case of a child who is suffering undernutrition, and because of undernutrition, infections have settled in. So the eye is gone. Measles has come in. Look at the skin. Inakaa kama imepandwa manywele. Hizo bilaka. Those are the skin lesions we talked about up there. Now, unaona mtoto akona ring. Unaona akona ring in the middle finger.
Yes, Doctor.
Yes.
That ring means the parents, watoto ni kumaanisha wazazi wa huko, they believe the child is actually under witchcraft attack. So that ring is for protection. Okay? So they think that's why the child is having harassment because it is a case of witchcraft. Just like our Kenyan communities would say the same. You know? Now, that child is in a lot of danger if nothing happens. Now, what are the causes? Now you've seen them in action. You've seen it physically. You've seen children dead. So you're not assuming now what is protein energy malnutrition. Someone speaking? You can mute your gadget maybe. So then causes of severe protein energy malnutrition. So what causes PEM? Severe low energy and severe protein intake. So when it's severe and it continues being severe, nothing happens, then that means the problem is chronic. Okay? When a child is only breastfed for like 2 years, 3 years, only breast milk and nothing else, again, the child is going to undergo severe PEM. When formula milk is underdiluted, then they will have low energy and protein intake. When the foods that are being complemented have low energy and micronutrients density, you know, when the recommended dietary allowance is not met, then again you will have the problem of low energy and protein deficiency. When infections come in, like the case we've seen of that boy up there with keratomarashe and measles, even these diseases, when they come, a child might have low energy and low protein because they are not feeding well. A sick child cannot eat. That's why they are supposed to be in an hospital, whereby when they cannot eat at all, kneel by mouth, other methods of feeding can be introduced. And also when they are consuming aflatoxins, we call that xenobiotics. When you consume aflatoxins, they just behave like antibiotics or some sort of medicine that you're taking, so it starts to fight your body. And it fights everything good because it believes it can accommodate your entire body. It can harbor it and it can live there. So it goes kicking out everything good outside so that it can get space to live. How do we treat severe protein energy malnutrition? You have to start eating nutritious diets. Yeah? Give a child breast milk, adequate quantities. Yeah? When you start complementary feeding, that is the one that you do after 6 months, then you start with liquid things because the milk has been liquid. You don't go giving dry mess and you say, now chew this one. So give liquid things. You can do skimmed milk, or you can add skimmed milk to the food. You can add oil to the food. You can add a little bit of sugar to taste, but in Kenya, parents will tell you, ukiweka taste, even doctors, nurses will tell you, don't make it taste, because they will stop eating when the taste is not there. They will never eat. And then to be on the safe side, you can do away with the sugars and the salts to start with, so that, because you don't know whether the child is going to have infections and because of too much sugar in the body, and also they might stop eating whatever is not sweet when they're given. So you can give them cereal gruels, you add milk to it, you add a bit of oil. In Kenya, we don't give sugar, so the milk will do. And if you want to, you can carry the rond to the end, then give a bit of sugar. Then soft ripe fruits, yeah, the purple, the avocado, etc. Then you can also give cooked vegetables. You can blend them and make them liquid, and the child can drink. Then you keep increasing the daily intake of proteins. You know, you keep adding. So vile ulianzia this week, you don't stop there. Kwanza unaona kama anapenda, whether the body is accepting or reacting, then you can continue. Then we go to treatment of severe Pem. This is continuation of what we talked about in the slide up there. You continue giving frequent small things. You don't give one full plate. Useme sasa hiyo unaweza last the whole day. The tummy is not yet prepared for such. Just like breastfeeding, ananyonya kidogo, anakaa ananyonya tena. When you start introducing things for a child who is already suffering protein energy malnutrition, pia unapeleka mwili kidogo kidogo. Yeah. Then you also give supplements on the micronutrients that the child is deficient on. The supplements come in handy because they give what the body requires instantly. When you go the nutrition way, you can, it's a route you can take longer. Then to treat clinical conditions, you need to treat them when they occur. The anemia, the keratomalacia, the measles, and any other condition that the child will develop as a clinical condition, then you treat it. The skin lesions, you treat it. Then you work on to preventing further deficiencies. Yeah? When a child is thirsty, you give water. You also treat infections and illnesses that a child gets. The diarrhea, you know. And you treat diarrhea by giving them the ORS. ORS are always available in the hospitals for children that are suffering diarrhea. Even for adults, when you diarrhea too much and you become dehydrated, you are given ORS to take in your water, dilute in 2 liters jug and drink it within 1 hour or 2 hours or 3 hours, as the doctors will advise, depending on your case of ORS that you're suffering or on generation. Then antibiotics can be given for the lower tract infections, the upper tract infections, and so on and so forth. And then you can prevent hypothermia. Now, when a child has been treated for protein energy malnutrition, 1 year after the treatment, there was improvement that was noted, and the improvement that was noted is like indicated here. Yeah. The WH send is weight for height, and the HSN is height for age. Yeah, that is the size. Weight for height sizes and height for age size. So you can see when diarrhea, those that were suffering diarrhea, they improved 67%, pneumonia cases of 58%, mortality rate was 2.3. So after 1 year, the problem seemed to be coming back. And then again, problem is the child has left the hospital. Now the child is with the same parents that first could not afford the things that the child needs. And then the child goes back for the pole from improving to suffering once more. Now, these ones were actually tariffs from a number of countries: Tanzania, Zaire, Nigeria, Philippines, Niger, and South Africa. Now, these ones was mortality cases and how they went 1 year after the child was treated for protein energy malnutrition. So in Tanzania, severe wasting was again recorded at 8%. You know, Zaire, it went to 19%. Philippines at 12%. The statistics may actually not make sense for you right now. This, your course is just to understand what you need to see in a child when you come for masters. Comparing notes and statistics becomes important. You see, that's a child that is underweight. And what this image tells us is that the child on the left is the same child on the right, you know, after proper feeding is given. So this photo tells us that children can remain wasted and underweight throughout the preschool years. Anataka kama hivyo wako image. Situation can change afterwards. You know, like last child, now the situation has changed. Yeah. And then the current image right there, the group of children, this image tells us that undernutrition can be mild. Yeah, they don't look clean, they don't look healthy, they don't look well fed. They look like that of much people. So it's a case of undernutrition. And this one, the undernutrition is mild. Yeah. The undernutrition can be mild, it can also be hidden. It can also reflect chronic low intake of calories. Yeah, they don't look so well fed. Neither are they kept, but this is an reflection of them and how they are eating. They are not severely affected, but they are mildly affected. They have protein and micronutrient issues. And these ones will affect their quality of life, their survival, and more importantly for you in education, now, this slide here shows us the anthropometric measurements. These ones are taken to show the nutrition status of the children. So for you to know whether a child is eating well, feeding well, undernutrited, overnutrited, or normal nutrition, you have to take their weight, you have to take their length and their height, you have to take their mid-arm circumference, you know, below the shoulder right there. You have to take the mid-upper arm circumference. We call it MUAC. You have to take the chest circumference. And you know, we talked about it earlier. The hand circumference. You know, the child that was suffering marasmus. And you have to take skin fold measurements. The ones we call tricipital and subscapular. You have to take the measurements of the skin folds. You know, vile skin imekunjana kukunjana, you have to measure the depth of those folds to be able to know whether the child is having undernutrition problems. So those are the things you measure to be able to tell whether the child is healthy or not, where nutrition is concerned. Okay? All right. Are we together, class?
Yes, Doctor.
Yes, we're together, Doctor.
All right. Thank you for feedback. Now, the graph here, you'll get it when you go through the link, because you have the link. You will enlarge it. You'll be able to see the growth curves. You know how children grow and develop in terms of weight and height, but now this is for the American children. When they were formed from age 2 to 18 years of age, the same child, anafuata measurements zake. In Kenya, we could not put it for you here. It was not available, but you can follow. This is the one that they found. They kept following these children from 2 years all the way to 18 years, and you will see how the growth curves are indicated. And those that are falling falling in the normal curve, and those ones that are falling in the abnormal curve of undernutrition and overnutrition. Then they have more cases of overnutrition, but they also have some cases of undernutrition. So those two, that one and this other one shows the same. The second one, this one now, is for girls from the day they were born up to when they were at 6 months. So this one is for girls only, 0 years or 0 months to 36 months. And again, you can be able to see whatever that was happening with them. Now, this picture here is of a health record being filled by a nurse. A child was taken for a normal checkup. So this one is feeding the growth count. Then I want us to talk about Anthropometric Classifications of Pem. We already know the severe ones, cases of undernutrition. We have kwashiorkor, marasmus, and marasmic kwashiorkor. Okay. What was the sound? Okay. Now, I want us to look at the anthropometric classifications of Pem. We have underweights. So when you take those measurements that we've taken, the weight, the height, the head circumference, the chest circumference, the skin fold measurement, when we take those things, okay, there's a lot of this one's coming in now. I'll show you. Frida, come in. Okay, so then underweight is whereby the weight for age measurements are taken. And when they are taken for a child to be underweight, when the age and the height have been taken and the anthropometric measurements have been calculated, they have to fall, they fall below 2 standard deviations of the medium age sex of the same children, the same age. So when you take all children, the weight for age, you take weight, you take children of 10 years, let me simplify it. You take children of all 10 years. Then for these 10 years children, you measure their weights. Okay? Now, when you measure all their weights, you calculate the median of that weight of all the children that you've measured. You calculate its median, the mean. When you get the mean, now you again go calculating to see how each child is deviating from the mean age that you've calculated for all the children that you've measured. How is each child deviating from the mean? So those ones that fall below the 2SD in the normal curve, there is a normal curve that when you come for masters, now I will show you how to calculate them, how to tabulate and present the tables. And if you want to see how this is done, you can go to Maktaba and Google my PhD thesis. I have calculated the underweight, the stunting, and the wasting there, the tables and the calculations and how they are done. You can see from there in case you then calculate yours and the formula for calculating. But now, because you are not doing the calculations at this level, I only want to tell you when you do the calculations, how do you know this child is underweight? So when they fall below the 2 standard deviations from the main mean, then that child, and there's a table from the World Health Organization that you can take the 2 standard deviations there and see. It will tell you the child is underweight. Okay? So there's a table of reference that you calculate, you go to the table and you see. But now basically, you can calculate the weight for age to be able to tell whether a child is underweight or not. So you cannot just look at the child and say this one is underweight without doing the calculation. So when you take them to the hospital, this is one thing the nutritionists will do. The nurse will have to refer the child to a nutritionist, and the nutritionist will have to calculate the weight for age to see whether the child is underweight. And then if the child is underweight, is it medium? Is it severe? That one again has to be indicated from the calculation. We are together, class, and I hope I'm not confusing anyone. Have you understood?
Yes, Daktari.
Yes, we have.
Thank you. Then we go for stunting. Stunting here, you take children of the same age, you measure their height. Then again, just like for the underweight, you calculate the mean of all the height of the children that you've measured. If there are 20 of them, you've taken all their heights, then you calculate the mean of their height. And then from the mean of their height, you calculate how each child is deviating from the mean of all the age of the children that have been measured. And then again, if it falls below the 2 standard deviations, then it means the child is stunted. But now we have mild stunting, we have moderate stunting, and we have severe stunting. So then the same thing for underweight. We have severe, we have moderate, and we have the other than category. So then now when you categorize them in those 3 categories, you recommend those that are severely stunted, meaning they are too short for their height, compared to those others, you recommend a remedy. So you come up with a nutrition plan, because even the brain and everything else is not developing normally. So then you have to figure out what to do. Then for wasting, you do the same. You measure the weight of all the children in that class of the same age, and then you measure that weight against their height. So weight and height, you calculate the mean. Weight and height, you calculate the mean. So weight, height, same age, So you measure the weight, then you measure the height of each child. Yes. And children must again be of the same age. But now here you are calculating the weight for height. But then, so that your readings, your calculation will be good, you have to take children of the same age. Then again, once you've calculated, and the measurements you get for each child falls below the 2 standard deviations right there, lower than, then you again categorize the child as per how much they have deviated. Is it moderate? Is it mild? Is it severe? So you categorize them in those 3 aspects. And then again, you can recommend a nutrition plan to help the child. So now we have those 3 anthropometric classifications, and these are very important when we are talking about undernutrition. So you don't go looking at someone's child and saying, hey, aka kako stunted. Na hii stunting yake naona ni ile severe hata sio ile mild. You don't go labeling people's children. You have to calculate for you to know whether the child is stunted or not. Then the child again can be wasted. Yes, you can see it with your eyes, but you need to take the child. Yes.
If I may just ask for now, are we doing these calculations as per now, or when we will be doing our masters? That is just a question I'm asking, please.
You don't do the calculations now because this course is not a statistical course. But when you go for your masters, you'll do a course known as statistics, and that is where you know how to do the anthropometric calculations and measurements. But you can also learn outside this course as personal interest. And I've said if you'd be interested, you can go get my PhD thesis, and you'll get more guidance from there on how you calculate. And yeah, the information is right there. I gave it.
Thank you, doctor, for that clarification.
You're welcome. Sahi amfanyi statistics, ile umefanya haitakufunza hiyo kufanya hii. Umefanya ya hesabu tu peke yake. Okay, so now, but it's good for you to know that actually you cannot just go saying this one is undernutrited, this one is stunted, this one is wasted, you know. Okay, now these are the cutoff points for assessing undernutrition. These measurements are in the books that when you any hospital you go to, they have a reference book that they use where you take children for measurements of the chest, the weight. They also have a reference book that they go to see whether the child is moderate, severe, or mildly stunted, wasted, or undernutrited. So now, these are the cutoff points that they use. Yeah, you can see the 2 standard deviations. But this table will not make sense for you now because I'm not teaching you statistics. But just know that there's a reference that is used. It's not just by looking and saying. But by looking and saying, you can advise the parents. You can advise the community and say, take this child for anthropometric measurements. Tuko pamoja wanafunzi? You can see things are not good.
Yes.
But
Yes, doctor.
Yes, doctor.
Yes,
you advise the
Daktari.
parents to take the you advise them to take the children for what measurements? Anthropometric measurements. Anthropometric measurements. And any hospital can do that as long as it has a child clinic. Okay, even a nutritionist can do that because this is growth monitoring and evaluation. All right, so now you know you are learning something. You can see some children that you might want to label, but advise the parent pole pole because knowledge is power. Now, I will move from all these tables now because I do not want to take you through statistics so that we go to the section that focuses us. Okay, this is undernourishment. And this is the recommendations here. But this also has to do with statistics. I want to take you to something that is not statistical so that I don't mix you up. These are some of the graphs you see in the work that I'm referring you to in my work. That was a Kenyan work. The standard date in Kenya. This picture, you remember you saw it earlier on. And this one is saying it's a case of undernutrition. Now we talked about children who have prolonged cases of undernutrition, and we said it can lead to death, it can lead to infections, it can lead to death, it can lead to other. Now, the table here, the graph here, shows the consequences of undernutrition. The severe ones will be death, disability, or chronic diseases. You know, diseases that cannot go away, you treat them and they stick with you. Now, consequences of undernutrition. So what are the consequences of undernutrition? We've said it can lead to diseases, it can lead to disability, and it can lead to death. Now, what causes undernutrition? Inadequate dietary intake. And you can see where my cursor is moving. Inadequate dietary intake. And undernutrition can also be caused by diseases. You know? Now, what again will lead to inadequate dietary intake? This will be as a result of inadequate access to food. It will also be as a result of inadequate care for mothers and children. You see, now I'm summarizing everything we've gone through in this topic of undernutrition. And it can also be caused by inadequate health services and unhealthy environment, which will contribute to diseases. And then because you are sick, you're not well, again, you're not eating, and you go to undernutrition. When you are having undernutrition, be sure to have problems with inadequate education. Yeah? So then, to make sure all these problems of undernutrition that is also affecting education, then you have to focus on resources and control. And resources and control here have to be human, economic, and organizational. And again, this is beyond us. All you need to know is that undernutrition is caused by what? And it will also affect how children learn. Up to there, that is for your level. Any question? Now, health consequences of undernutrition. Health consequences, we've already said it. And we've said already it will be a vicious cycle of undernutrition, of infection, and of low education. Okay? at that table here. I don't know if you can see it. This is the table I want you to see. You can see it?
Yes, doctor, you can see it.
Yes, the vicious cycle of undernutrition and infection. Now, you can see at the bottom of this vicious cycle, below we have undernutrition, and on top we have infection. Now let's start from infection. We start drawing a circle from there. So this is infection. Now let's start from undernutrition because this is our problem. Undernutrition. From undernutrition, we have activities reduced. Forget about the medicinal terms, just focus on activity, reduced activities because of low energy. Then we go to reduced immune response, so immune is down. Then we go to low antibody responses are reduced, so your body is not able to fight whatever diseases that come. Then, because the body is not able to fight, then the complement system is impaired. And because it is impaired, you develop infections. Now, when infections have been developed, which we are starting the second cycle, you have loss of appetite because you cannot eat. You have reduced food intake because you don't eat the way you eat normally when you're sick. And then you have malabsorption of nutrients. Even what you eat is not absorbed the way it's supposed to be absorbed. Why? Because your body is having problems with that. So it's not absorbing. And then we have metabolic losses. And then because of metabolic losses, you develop undernutrition. And you're starting the cycle again. You go on and on. You go through the same things we went through in undernutrition, and then you go to the second cycle of infection. So now, having known this, it's good to understand that actually the undernutrition problems can be taken care of. Look at the figure there. The figure next there is major causes of death among children. Yeah? Major causes of death. And you can see 60%, look at the inner circle, 60% of death associated with undernutrition. So undernutrition is something that we need to focus on when we are thinking about health of our children. Because if our children are underfed, then we are not going to have any health. We cannot talk about health when children have undernutrition problems. Yeah? So then, having said that, I have covered what I needed to cover today, and I think I don't want to take you to the next topic, which is supposed to be on vitamin A deficiency. I want to leave you with the protein, energy, or nutrition deficiency. I believe what we've talked about is something you need to ponder about seriously. So I'm stopping my sharing, and I want to hear whatever questions that you might have from that. If I add the next vitamin there, you'll be confused. I would rather you digest that by itself. Ama mnaonaje?
Sure, doctor, you are right.
Okay. Any questions?
I also agree with her.
Yes, I also believe that if you have to be productive tomorrow in the society with the information I've given you, you need to go through it because this is a practical consultation. Yeah, you can be a consultant instantly with that information. That can bring you a whole lot of income if you understand that information very, very well.
Doctor, these parents are suffering from malnutrition. It means there is challenge with financial. So if we say we can do consultation, then we are killing them more. So let us just help freely.
Yes, you can help, but you can also make it your business. You're lucky. That's why you're saying that someone else is not working and they want to make that their business. You can start your consultancy, and that can be a whole basis of your income, whereby you take children's anthropometric measurements if you understand how to do them, and parents can bring them there. You take the measurements and you advise as your consultancy firm, just measuring on that. I like opening up my students' ideas because tomorrow you will be out of classroom or out of job, and you might want to do something else. So if you end up doing this as your source
That
of
is a
income, you pay me my tithe. When you do that, you pay me my tithe, though. Because it's my knowledge you're using to make money, so you remember to pay me. Omodi, unasikia?
Nimesikia kabisa.
Hata hivi yangu pia, I hope umesikia ikuje. I'm sorry that I came late, but one of our first year students who is a class rep in Trapeon, I don't know from where, which part of the country, and came in the office, was closing hours, and so needed my help to be helped and assistant. So I hope you understand. I was not sitting in my house taking tea or meeting with some boyfriend somewhere having fun. I was doing free consultation. I was helping humanitarian help to one of you. Because also when you come and you need me, I'll make time for you. So I'm sorry for being late. I hope I'm forgiven.
Yes, Doctor, you're forgiven.
And this class is always understanding. Thank you very much. I
You're
appreciate
welcome,
that. I
Doctor.
don't take it for granted.
You understood, Doctor.
Because you can stick our time on the timetable was there. Thank you. Thank you. I'm also saying that some people, some crop, those ones that are spring chickens may not understand. They're saying, but this is the time that you are scheduled. We don't have any other time beyond this time. So thank you so much. I'll stop the recording unless there is a question. Eunice, any question?
I don't have any question, Doctor. I'm just pondering on how I can start business by doing consultations. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And also how you pay me back, Rachel?
Watu watoe fungu la 10.
Maybe mine will not be fungu la 10. Wacha yangu hata sio tithe, by the way. Yangu ni tax. 50-50.
Yako itakuwa ni
Government
50%.
like
Yangu ipite hiyo tithe, ipita kabisa, because mimi si Mungu. I need more. God has a lot.
At least 30%.
Okay, sawa. Because you're the one going to do the preaching. Mine I've done once, you keep doing to get
yeah,
money. Okay.
Doctor, God will pay you.
Cha Kaisari mpe Kaisari.
I also
Wacha Mungu
agree
ajibu
with
mpe you.
Eddie.
Yes,
We.
yes, yes.
God's reward is the
Yeah,
greatest.
Utoe. Malipo ni hapa hapa. Tulipane. Dokta upatie chako.
I like that. But you know, part of it, whenever I have a group under me, I always know because I'm the authority, I have to keep mentoring people as we proceed. And you can't believe the things that students that have passed through my hands have done. I have some in parliament as MPs. I have a senator, even the Minister of Finance was my student. So you can see I mentor great minds. Eh? So now, sikuwa limited.
Congratulations.
Sikuwa limited now. Yes, that's inspiration. And actually, you take the idea beyond being inspired, you take action. Sindio? I know there are some my thoughts, something known as a course on children's literature. And we talked about publishing books. I told them to go and collect storybooks and I'll help them publish. And nowadays, some of them have become established authors. They write books that you're using to teach. And I look at the books when I see them and I'm like, I thank God I said you can make business by writing, you know? So don't sit on the ideas, take it further. Now that there are no questions for me, allow me to stop the recording and also end the class. Am I allowed?